there's no relationship that's really perfect, you know. आई थिंक खूबसूरती, हम इंसानों की खूबसूरती है इस चीज़ में कि हम सब imperfect हैं, you know. And that's how it's supposed to be as well. That's why, like, there's all of these polarizing emotions as well, like just where there's love, in a relationship. Love is something that obviously, like, binds all of us together, we're born into families, we love them, we want to love them, we want them to love us. We do what we want to do so that everyone loves us. We go to school, we want everyone to love us. Then we have friends, we want them to love us. Then we find a partner and we want them to love us and we want to love them. So where there's this emotion that's love, in polarity there's everything that is, I wouldn't really say hate, because hate's a really strong word, but in polarity there's just these unpleasant energies and emotions as well, being hurt, being upset, just not being happy in general. So point being that any relationship, that if you look at it, there's no perfect relationship, every relationship has its flaws, because this, like, the law of polarity will always exist in everything, the yin yang of life, there's light, there's dark, there's love, there's, so obviously, like, everyone who's been in love, वो जब imbalance आता है एक relationship के अंदर, we always, if you speak with anyone, उनकी कहानी में हमेशा कोई ना कोई विलन होगा और किसी की कहानी में आप विलन होगे. Like, you might feel something, whatever you do, through what, like, through the relationship you've been through, but then the person who you thought hurt you is going to have their own side of the story, and they're going to be like, lekin usne mere saath fana. So this paradox is always going to be there, and that's why I feel that since the imbalance is inevitable, ये होना ही होना है, क्योंकि law of polarity ने exist करना ही करना है. Where there's love, there's gonna be pain as well. तो जो actual, मेरे लिए personally, the actual foundation of what for me determines the strength of any relationship is the fact that when you're in love with someone, it's not about the good times that you have. I've said this before as well. It's not about the honeymoon phase where everything was great and, you're traveling, you're experiencing the world together, you get to know the person, and there's excitement in that as well. So you can't really gauge the strength of a relationship through the good times, because the good times you can have with everyone, bro. You break up, you're going to move on to the next relationship. Guess what? You're going to have that honeymoon period where you're going to have a good time with them in the beginning. The real strength, in my opinion, of a relationship lies in how you were during the bad times. How did you survive the bad times? What did you do? Were you able to understand each other? Were you able to, like, go through it together, find a way forward together, not, where you were not unreasonable and had these outbursts that were just crazy and just really not serving anything to change the balance from there being pain to there being love, but you're just wanting to, like, hammer on to, the negative emotions more and more, and clearly you're just belittling the other person, and you don't want to look for a way forward, and you don't want to save your relationship, but you just want that anger to take over you and just, not really know what you're going to do with it. So ek taraf wo hai, ek taraf hai, the ability to push through that pain and that hurt in a way where you make it a point that I love this person, I want to be with them, And that entails that in this difficult time, we come together, try and understand each other. I express myself in a way that the other person understands me. Or they express themselves in a way that can help me. And just really communicate with one another and let each other know, what are we really trying to do here? Like, what are we achieving out of this? Are we achieving anything out of just like screaming at each other and shouting and not texting each other and then playing those games where aaj main usse baat nahi kar raha, aaj main usse baat. I mean, taking space is fine. Playing games is the problem. That's what people seem to do. Like, friends are advising you, यार उसको पता है 2 दिन बाद ही ना करो उससे, ये ना करो वो. You don't. And especially if you really truly feel like talking to someone and you're having to stop yourself, it's just you being untrue to yourself just so you can play this game. For what? Where there's true love, if you would call it, why do you need to play these games? You just need to be and just truly talk it out, and whoever is the right person for you, they'll always understand. So then it depends what you really did in those bad times. For me, that determines the strength of any relationship. And of course, I think that the real test of any relationship is not, again, during the good times. It's when you know everything about the other person there is to know. क्या है जी फेवरेट खाने, क्या है मूवी, क्या है एक्टिविटी, क्या है ये भी कर लिया, दुनिया भी फिर ली, सब कुछ कर लिया जी हमने. And now you come to a point where there's nothing new to explore emotionally, spiritually, or even like out in practical world. हर एक्टिविटी करके देख ली है, मैं इस बंदे को अंदर बाहर से जान गया हूँ पूरा. And now there's nothing new to know. That's when the real test starts, because that is going to determine if you have the strength within you to really enjoy, be comfortable, and still feel something and that spark, even in the silence that you share with that person. For me, that's that defines strength in love, where you don't have to force any conversation, where you can just be with the other person in your own space, and you don't need to think, oh yaar ab kya kare, like kuch fun nahi ho raha, bore to nahi ho raha, ye to nahi ho raha. No, it's just not like true love in its essence. When you have to be with someone and live with someone, you need to understand that you're not meant to always be chasing any high. That's just a hoax. You're meant to eventually share happiness and comfort in nothingness, in simplicity as well. Just like I had this one beautiful moment where I thought that I was with someone very, very dear to me, and we were just standing on the terrace, so a thunderstorm aa gaya tha, and we just stood and watched the thunderstorm, the storm, and this was when I was also recording and working on Storms in Serenity. So it was very, nothing is a coincidence. But us moment mein, for a good 30 minutes, we didn't say anything to one another. We just looked at what was happening, and we just felt what we were feeling. And it was after those 30 minutes of us just being still. Being still is what I'm trying to say. Wow, that's nice. The ability to be still is what matters. So yeah, when we realize that we've been still for 30 minutes, and when we came out of that high of life, and we looked at each other and we realized, oh, we both have experienced this moment together the way we did. And we both were in the same place without even talking to one another or even knowing. We just knew, okay, you're also where you are, just taking this in and just being still right now. I never felt being in the moment. Being in the moment. I've never felt being in the moment as much in my life as I did that day. And it was beautiful, especially to know that the other person was also feeling the same. So that for me, said a lot. And I'm saying this only because sometimes a lot of people who are like, who don't really realize what they're chasing, and when they're only chasing that high blindly, they start judging their relationship on this basis as well कि oh अगर कुछ fun नहीं हो रहा और कोई हरकत नहीं हो रही, इसका मतलब है जी हम तो you know we're not a good couple, you know, we don't go out and party every single weekend. So what? There's no, like, we watch all these movies and these series and everything, and they make you feel like life is in that. Life is not in that. Life is in the littlest of moments that you can have with someone, you know, that you cherish with someone. A you know, like a train ride with someone, where they fell asleep on your arm, just a walk through the park, you know, where you guys talked about flowers. I don't know. Or just a random rainbow just came out and you just like stepped out on the street and just saw it together. They're merely a few minutes. That's it. And I think that's what really, for me personally, that's where true love lies. And a part of my love language, everyone has love languages. फिजिकल टच होता है किसी का क्या होता है, मेरी काफ़ी है, लेकिन एक काफ़ी फॉरमोस्ट जो है ना उसमें वर्ड्स ऑफ एफर्मेशन है. एंड आई हैव ऑलवेज बीन समवन who's really expressed himself, क्योंकि I'm very expressive, you know. If I'm in love, I would say a lot of things and really express myself. And अगर मुझे किसी ने इतना लंबा मैसेज भेजा तो I have to respond to them with a message either twice as long or at least as long as they, you know, like wrote to me, because it's like, हाँ यार, like they're giving you that energy, that's what you need to give back. लेकिन I think unfortunately for me, मेरे जितने experiences अभी तक हो चुके हैं, it's never been the case that the other person has given me words of affirmation in return as much as I've given to someone, you can say. Complaints तो होती है ना फिर सबकी, you know. Maybe this is like my complaint the one complaint that I had, क्या कुछ तो मिल जाए ना, या मिल सकता था. And that's where I think the idea of Shukriya was born. And I could never imagine that I would name a song, or I would write a song called Shukriya, and I would like write the lyric Shukriya and sing it. I can't imagine singing Shukriya, but it so happened that this thing led me to, like, you know, just write this song about the fact कि मैंने क्या क्या किया, what I've been through for you, and you just never thanked me, you know. No words of, the only word of affirmation I was seeking here was just a thanks. And I never got that. पेट भी बोल रहा है bro, मैं सुबह से कुछ खाया नहीं हुआ. खैर, but yeah, see, दर्द इतना ज़्यादा है bro कि अंदर पेट भी बोल रहा है कि हाँ bro सही कह रहा है यार. खैर, so I think that's where the idea for the song was born. That I've done a lot, and if only you had just like thanked me for what I did, what I went through for you, that might have been enough. Considering that my love language is words of affirmation. So yeah, that's why the, you know, जो कुछ लाइनें आई थी वो थी like, जो होना था हुआ रे, जो कहना था कहा रे, जो सुनना था सुना रे, सो हुआ जो हुआ रे, तेरे लिए पर्दा मैं रख लां दुखाते, तेरे लिए दर्दानू बदला सुखाचे, तैनू मैं सांभे आसानू सुखा के, वे सुखा के तावी आखे ना, तावी आखे ना, हो तावी आखे ना, किन्ना करना है मेरे लिए शुक्रिया दिल दे रांझे आ, गिले शिकवे नहीं किते तेरा शुक्रिया दर्द रांझा. You know, just like as you hear, तेरे लिए पर्दा में रखना, पर्दा तेरे लिए पर्दा में रखना दुखां ते, तेरे लिए दर्दां नू बदलना सुखां च, तैनू मैं सांभेआ साह नू सुखा के, तामी आखे ना. You know, किन्ना करना है मेरे लिए शुक्रिया दिल दे रांझे. गिले शिकवे नहीं किते. I've never, मुझसे गुस्सा नहीं किया जाता. You know, like I've said before as well, I can't get upset. If I'm upset, if something's really hurt me, I would just want that I am really able to effectively communicate that. That's it. कि यार this is what I'm feeling and I don't feel nice. And मैं मुझसे नहीं वो होता ये मैंने नहीं बात करनी और मैं एकदम कोल्ड शोल्डर दूंगा पहले कि अगला फिगर आउट करे कि इसको क्या हो रहा है, वो फिर पूछे मुझसे, फिर मैं कहूँ कि तुम्हें नहीं पता ये. I don't know, like some people are just wired like that. I mean, you know, everyone's wired however they are, and nothing against them, but that's just not me. If I'm feeling something, I need to let it out. बचपन में मैंने कुछ लाइनें लिखी थी because मुझे ना, and this is what I want from my partner as well. If you feel something, let me know what it is. You know, talk to me about it. जिंदगी में इतना कुछ चल रहा होता है कई दफ़ा, you know, you're dealing with your own things, they're dealing with their own things. It's not like you're always supposed to be, you know, like obsessed with that person to the point कि आज उसने मुझे देख के पता नहीं यूं नहीं किया तो पता नहीं क्या. Of course, like some things you pick up on, but if you haven't been able to pick up on something, I don't think your partner should give you hell for it. They should just communicate, or you know, like just let you know that hey man, like this is what was happening. So क्या है? So खैर मुझसे नहीं किया जाते ये गिले शिकवे, मैं नहीं कर सकता. I just want to let the other person know this is what I'm feeling. We need to solve this because I don't like feeling bad for a long period of time where I have to like, you know, wait for them to figure it out. So yeah, पर्दा में रखना तेरे लिए पर्दा में रखना दुखां थे. You know, like I've done this my entire life, that I just, whatever's made me sad for someone, if I truly love them, I've always like just let that pain go away and just let it go, you know. And hence dardanu badla sukhache, like, you know, I would just transform and change my pain into like, you know, happiness for you. When you're really crazy in love with someone, sometimes it just happens, bro. You really, really forget about your pain. You know, you see the person smile, you feel that love again, and boom, everything just goes. And you can't control it. And your friends would tell you, bro, don't fall for this. Na kariye. Remember what she put you through. And when you're with them, you're like, ha, bro, easy. But then you look at them, and they, like, anytime someone shows me just a little bit of affection, I just melt right away, no matter what they've done in the past. I forget it, you know. And then I get taken advantage of again. And then I suffer all over again. And it's like this endless cycle and loop that just keeps going on. And that's why I think shayad this gaane mein bhi, by the end, I'm definitely going to take it to that point, you know, okay, you never thanked me, but guess what? The minute you do, or whenever you do give me those words of affirmation, I'm probably going to forget everything and just hear a calling from you and, you know, just come running back to you, which has always been my weakness, I feel. फिर से दिल फेंक हो जाता हूँ मैं. So वो calling भी जो थी उसकी भी मुझे थोड़ी सी आ रही थी, like melody, you know, like not a कवाली, but just a lot of backing vocals. And कंगना रे तेरा कंगना, जो मेरे तेरा कंगना, सुनदा मैं हुण चलिया मैं हुण तेरे ना. You know, Kangana represents the Kangana, you know, like represents the that affirmation or that love or any signal that I would get from the other person, of a person of any affection, that would just draw me back to them. So Kangana tera boleya, Ranjaya, you know, so that I'm gonna figure out करेंगे कुछ कि क्या किस तरह उसको लिखेंगे, क्या होगा, भी तो मैं क्रैश कर रहा हूँ, लेकिन क्या ऐसा होगा कि सब कुछ मैंने ये बेयर किया, तुमने कभी भी शुक्रिया नहीं किया, लेकिन फिर you know, कंगना तेरा बोलेया, and then boom, I'm back at square one. I hope this doesn't go on for the rest of my life, man. Yeah. So there's this one loop that I've had for quite a long time now. I tried finding something that could just like, instead of like playing keys, sometimes what I do is like I just, instead of an instrument, I just like find, you know, like a sample or a loop just के ऊपर वो naturally melody बैटरी, and then, you know, take it from there. कई दफ़ा एक मज़े का combination बन जाता because the loop or the sample is someone else's creation, and you know, probably you guys are gonna be like, यार boy क्या एनर्जी का लफ्ज डाली जाता है हर जगह, लेकिन उसकी कोई एनर्जी थी जिससे उसने जो बनाया वो बनाया, and then he put it out there in the world, and now I'm here and I've created something. एक होता है jam करना, ठीक है, कि आप किसी के साथ हो and live you guys like jam together. एक होता है, it's like a jam from the future, you can say, you know, कि किसी बंदे ने कुछ बनाया था और मैंने अपनी इंडिपेंडेंट स्पेस में कुछ बनाया, और हम एक दूसरे को जानते भी नहीं और हमें पता भी नहीं हम कौन है, हम दोनों की एक फिनिश्ड प्रोडक्ट, इसमें हम दोनों का कोई दूसरे से ताल्लुक नहीं था, किसी ना किसी तरह एक पॉइंट पे आके यू नो मिल गए. That creates the synergy of you know, these two planes, and then that is what you guys will hear. So it's very interesting. It's different than you doing your own thing. It's like a jam from the future. उसने की, आपने की, और वो बस मिल गए after they were completed. So I'm just gonna play this, and then we're gonna just see how the melody is feeling. बल्कि उससे पहले we're gonna see what the beat maybe needs to be like. So yeah. It's very, very nice. जो कहना था कहा, जो हुआ सो हुआ, जो सुना था सुना, सो हुआ जो हुआ, पर्दा खुला दो. Sorry about that. I lost for a little bit. But what I hear is Joa so something really clean, very punchy, very in your face, no reverb stuff here, a nice big fat kick because I'm not going to introduce the bass in the beginning, big fat snare. Hi-hats भी थोड़ी मोटी, और उनको हम खेलते हैं उनके साथ, उनकी हम मेरा ख्याल है ऑडियो को प्रॉब्ली शायद चॉप करके तो ट्रांसपोज करें, क्योंकि जो मैं ओरिजिनली कर रहा था वो था सेम पिच पे नहीं थी हर हायर, लाइक नहीं थी, वो लाइक टुकु टू, सो ऊपर से नीचे हम आ रहे हैं. सो फर्स्ट आई एम गोना गो फॉर द किक. Now we see the hi-hats. ठीक है. Now we bring it down, the transpose. Ta 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 ta. Smooth. Now we move on to the snare. What? मतलब जब वो snare बजे ना तो it should like, you should feel it right over here. You know, like it should be so close to you. It's like यहाँ पे किसी ने बजाई है. Okay, so we found a good snare. See, that's exactly the snare that I wanted. I think this is good enough to kick off the song with. In all honesty, that's all that's needed. I shall now start recording vocals, and then we'll introduce the bass and everything, I think, thoda sa aage jaake. Shayad. But yeah, on to the vocals. जो ना था
जो सुनना था so I Give me